So before I post pictures and videos of exercises that I recommend for this, I'm also going to put the same picture up about how the glutes are really so closely related to the pelvic floor. So again, if we think about the pelvic floor being a bowl, right? So it's more like a circle. So it's going pubic bone here, hip to hip, and then front to back here to my tailbone, okay? So when we externally rotate or go into a deep squat, we're basically opening or stretching all of the pelvic floor muscles kind of until you get to midline, right? Because if I externally rotate here, I'm gonna open up everything in front, but then what am I doing to the back? I'm shortening everything in the back, right? So that way we're really only opening half of our pelvic floor, the front half. And the pelvic floor is kind of separated by your perineum. So it goes hip to hip, sit bone to sit bone. So if we're only opening up that top half and it's kind of, then we're shortening everything below it or below that perineal line, then what's happening down here is everything shortened and getting used to being shortened. So we need to stretch everything into internal rotation to lengthen the posterior aspect of the pelvic floor. The reason why this comes in so much postpartum is there may have been some tearing of that superficial transverse perineum, that perineal body, during birthing. And so we want to make sure to lengthen all aspects, because remember, the pelvic floor, to be able to react how it should, has to be able to lengthen and contract, right? So if you look at it from behind, here we go. If this is my tailbone and this is my hip bone, my glutes run from my sacrum to my hip bone, kind of in this diagonal fashion. And then everything below my sit bone here is my pelvic floor running in the same direction. So as we internally rotate, so here's neutral, you can see the wrinkles in my pants. As we internally rotate, all of this is lengthening. And then if we add some nice flexion, then we're lengthening even more. Never thought I would be sharing my butt with that many people. We are going to lengthen the front half of the pelvic floor with external rotation, things like butterfly, deep squatting, child's pose, and then we're going to lengthen the posterior, the back part of our pelvic floor, below that superficial transverse perineum, with hip internal rotation, okay? And it's all to regain the full capacity of lengthening to contract.